Hello, I hope that you're having a fabulous day. Welcome to another Winter Days vlog. It is the 25th today, so I've got some planning issues that I need to do. So basically, I decided that in order for Christmas to be relatively lovely and doable, I have to plan it in advance. And I love it when I plan my Christmas in advance because it means it's a lovely, gentle Christmas and I can participate and experience all of the wonderfulness of Christmas. So this year, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to try out using the 25th day of each month to spend about 20 to 30 minutes looking through my Christmas plans, looking through my Christmas debriefs, and thinking about what I need to do, what gaps I need to fill in, etc. And that the idea is to spread the Christmas planning throughout the year. So for me, it's very important to do this because my twins were born in December, quite close to Christmas, actually. So it's very important to be organized so that they can feel that their birthdays have been honored and celebrated as much as Christmas Day, which is a very important event for us in our Christian calendar. So 25th of January, the first planning session. So I have my Christmas folder, which is never far from me. It doesn't get tidied away with all the other Christmas stuff, say, for instance, that's in the shed or up in the attic. This one is always close at hand with my other planners. And that's so that if I get an idea or if I see something that prompts an idea, I can easily capture it so that I capture all of my ideas in here. So one of the things that I have already done so far is I've gone through the breakdown, sort of the debrief of Christmas to see what worked and what didn't work. And for me, one thing that hasn't worked for the last 3 years has been my Christmas pudding has failed to come out perfectly off the dome. It's really gloriously sunny. It means that for the video, the lighting isn't going to be all that great, but at least it's beautifully sunny. So I'm not going to complain too much. So I've already done, I've looked at that, and that was the key thing that came up. The last 3 Christmas puddings have not come out well. And so I decided that this year I was going to do some investigations in terms of exploring whether my recipe that I'm using is still good enough, whether I need to work on something else or the process in itself or possibly the portion. So I currently make it in a big Pyrex dish, but now I'm thinking that maybe the Pyrex dish is just too big and that's why it's not working out. So as part of my investigations at Asda, they were clearing out some of the Christmas stuff, and they had this Christmas pudding for £1.15, right? And I thought, okay, well, it's got a really nice size little tub thingy. So I thought I'll buy this, and we're going to use this for testing with the kids and with my husband to see if they think that this tastes any better than the Christmas pudding recipe that I have been making for the last 12 years or so, and to see if there's some improvements that can be made. Think of it as a benchmarking exercise, so to see if things are as good as they should be. And also researching, I'm going to buy a specialized pudding tin for making the pudding, because currently the Pyrex dish clearly isn't working, because the last 3 times it hasn't come out, even though I've greased it copiously with copious amounts of butter and flour, it still has gotten stuck to the inside. So I think I may need to try a specialist one. So that's the thing that I am investigating. So I'm making notes. So I've got a Christmas pudding page in my planner that I am making notes about. So that's what I've done this 25th of January. It's been about sorting out the Christmas pudding issue. So we're going to try this at some point over the coming weekend, and then we'll report back on it. But I thought for £1.15, it's a really good price, decent size, and it also comes with a really decent pot here and I'll be able to use this for other steamed puddings. So that was that one. And then the other thing that I've been doing today has been updating my food source book. Hang on. So as part of my menu planning, in order to cost the menu plans so that I can have an idea of how much each meal is costing per portion of protein, because protein is very important to me. So I always try and make sure that we're eating enough protein and, good quality protein. So I have what's called a food source book. And this is just a plain notebook that I got from Wilkinson's before they closed down. And I labeled it. And in it, right, I write down sources of beef, how much it costs per kilo. So like mincemeat, we get that from Costco. So that's where mincemeat for us is the cheapest for really good quality, because they do Aberdeen Angus meat. And then I also have sources for chicken, where we get chicken breast fillets, whether it's better to buy it from the Aldi or Costco. And at one point, Costco used to be cheaper for the breast fillets, but then Aldi came out quite competitive, and it was almost like for like in terms of quality. So it's now Aldi. And then we've got things like bacon, and of which bacon worked out cheaper at Costco because we can get it in bulk. And then we also have eggs, and chopped tomatoes. So basically most of the things that are our basics, our store-bought cupboard basics, I have it in here, and the milks, etc. And then I will put in the cost per 100 grams so that it's easier for me to compare. And before I decide to switch sources, I'll be able to check on the cost per 100 grams. Or I'll take a picture. So say if I'm out and about at Aldi and I think, oh, this looks like it might be cheaper here, I'll take a picture of the price, so that I can then compare and check with my food source book. Or if they say, oh, something is on special offer, or, this has gone down in price, guess what? I have it recorded, so I can tell whether it's actually gone down in price or you're just trying to, get away with something. So this has been invaluable. I update this now I update it every 2 to 3 months because prices have been rising so much. But when I started doing this, I was only needing to update it every 6 months or so because prices were not changing as much. But now they're changing so much. I do need to do it every 2 to 3 months. And so I was doing this today, just making sure that I'm still getting good value out of my grocery shopping, because next week I have to do a big Costco run. So I was also working on doing the menus. So yes, that's been part of my day so far today, after I went to the gym and did loads of other stuff. But now, gotta soothe the throat. It's jacket potatoes tonight, and I'm going to be making jacket potatoes and a coleslaw to go with it, and then we'll have some various toppings like cottage cheese, etc. But that's what I've been up to. I've got several activities to go to after school today, so it's got quite a lot. There's 4 separate activities that I have to do, so I need to make sure that all the food is ready before we go, and then it will only be about, I think, 8 o'clock that I'll be able to sit down and maybe watch something on TV with some of the kiddies before I then have bedtime. And then it's just going to be a very busy and a very hectic weekend. So that is me with my planning stuff that I am doing at the moment. And yeah, let's get cooking. I'll show you how I do my jacket potatoes, because jacket potatoes are really great, easy to make, and you can just play around with them in so many wonderful ways. They are definitely a favorite in the house. We have them once a week, and you can just do so much with them. And I have a little trick that I use to just really get the best out of the jacket potatoes. Right? I'll see you in the kitchen then.
I resisted menu planning for the longest time, thinking that it would be boring and staid. However, having started doing it years ago, menu planning is a simple yet effective strategy that can transform your daily routine, especially regarding those meal times. With 5 children, life at home is nothing short of hectic, and meal times in particular were the most stressful part of the day, especially when the children were younger. Between shuttling kids to their activities and managing our work schedules, figuring out what to cook each night felt overwhelming, and the chaos of not having a meal plan was very much felt. And that's what meal planning did for me. It helped me to simplify things. It was a game changer, turning our chaotic meal times into more manageable and enjoyable part of the day. And more importantly, I was able to answer the question, what's for dinner, by the kids all the time. There are so many benefits to menu planning, they would warrant a separate hours long video, but it is definitely a practice that has been well worth the effort of implementing. I've already gathered the ingredients for my creamy coleslaw. The main thing for the sauce is 2 teaspoons of sugar along with half a teaspoon of salt and 1/8 of a teaspoon of powdered mustard. I like this Coleman's mustard. And to this, we'll add 1 tablespoon of vinegar as well as a half a teaspoon of onion powder. I'd have preferred to use a fresh onion, but I'd run out of fresh onions. Otherwise, normally I would have grated the onion. Because I don't have a mandolin that would, technically speaking, shred the vegetables in the proper way for a slaw, I actually just use my food processor with the blade attachment, and that sort of finely chops them up. But it's the same ingredients, they just look a little bit different, but it still tastes just as good. I used to have a mandolin a long time ago, but I once cut my finger very badly on all of those blades that jut out, and I've never had a taste for adding that particular gadget to my kitchen again. So I prefer all of my blades to be safely ensconced in the processor, such as this one that I have here. So I just chuck the cabbage in there and it gets nicely sliced and nicely cut up. And then the next thing will be to do the carrots. For the carrots, I remove the blade and I use the grater attachment. I love this. I don't know, I think it's called a food processor, multi-processor, but it's really awesome. So I'll top and tail my carrots and I will peel them. I know sometimes you don't have to, but I tend to prefer to peel the carrots, because sometimes you may miss the little bits of grit that are stuck in between the creases. And to me, there's nothing more frustrating than biting into something and getting a bit of grit. So I always take time to make sure that that doesn't happen. And so I'll just put those in to the food processor. And I'm so grateful I live in an age where we do have food processors like this. I mean, without the food processor, you could use a grater easily, but that would take so much more time. So once the carrots are ready, I just add them to the bowl where the cabbage is. The carrots look a little bit more shredded than what the cabbage does, but it's still all very delicious. So to this, I will make a little well in the center after I've mixed them together. So with my coleslaw, I like to have nearly a 50-50 cabbage to carrot ratio. I know with other slaws you could add other ingredients as well if you wanted to, but I'm a bit of a traditionalist with this. For me, it's carrots and white cabbage all the way. Although I have to admit I would love to do red cabbage, but I'm still yet to convince my children that red cabbage is in fact an edible vegetable. To this, I will add 1 cup of mayonnaise because I like the coleslaw to be lovely and creamy, and it will go really well with jacket potatoes when it's creamy. And so I'll add all of the dry ingredients to the bowl as well as the 1 teaspoon of onion powder and the 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. I also like to add some natural yogurt, so just 2 tablespoons, just to sort of cut into the mayonnaise taste, because I think sometimes mayonnaise can be a little bit overwhelming, but if you add some natural yogurt to it, it just, it reduces the egginess of the mayonnaise. So now just gently mix that. And by this point, you could taste it if you wanted to see if the flavor is what you like. If you want it to be a bit more piquant, add some more vinegar. If you want it to be a bit more creamier, you add some more mayonnaise or even creme fraiche. I've done it with creme fraiche before when I didn't have any natural yogurt, and it still worked as well. So as you can tell there, I did make a huge batch of it, and that's because over the weekend I like to have coleslaw salad just available. It makes a great snack. It's a great addition to anything that we're having, whether it will be for brunch or for lunch. And so I'll pop it into a Tupperware container and store it in the fridge. So this is the one that's going to go into the fridge. And then the one that's going to be used for dinner tonight will go into a serving bowl. Moving on to the jacket potatoes. I buy my jacket potatoes usually from Aldi or Asda. And the thing is, I like to really give them a good scrubbing using a potato scrubbing brush. And again, same principle with the carrots. I don't like to come across any bits of grit, so spend a lot of time doing that, particularly since most of the nutrition of the potato is in the skin. So what I like to do is to parboil the potatoes for about 15 minutes. So that's in total, including the time it takes for the water to heat up. And this is the little trick that I have found makes the potato skins absolutely delicious and gorgeous. And after I've boiled them, I will brush on some oil before they go into the oven at 180 degrees for about an hour to an hour 15, depending on the size. And I love to serve them up with some tuna, coleslaw, cheese, and some cottage cheese. Thank you for visiting with us today. And until I see you next time, I wish you blue skies, health, and happiness. Bye.